Welcome everyone to week 11 in Mexico today. And hopefully we have all three tiers streamed today. I might have Nightbot still advertising the wrong stream, but I think we should have Pizza streaming tier 3. But that's yet to be seen. Hopefully we can get all three tiers streamed. This one is quite desolate, so only have 13 drivers on the grid, which includes one reserve tonight. That is, from the top down, Faint Fawn is Fawn, Vivoda is Vivoda, Lucid Cardiac is Lucid, MK7 Hitch is Hitch, Anime Boy is Anime, 1507 is Heatley, Mini Squatch is Squatch, Final Flame is Flame, MJW28 is MJW, the Yuppie is Yuppie, 77s is 7, Dismal Games is Dismal, and Kryptonic Swang is Kryptonic. Now, we'll see MJW start his outlap here. Oops, didn't mean to do that. I want to see if I can hide this and remember what to press. This is camera, this is spectator menu, and yeah, that's it. We'll stay on board for MJW's first lap around the track. This is his outlap, which is invalid, but we will ride on board as well. JW going through Sector 3 here. And let's just stay on board as we take the timing sheets off. Riding on board with MJW in the first lap of qualifying here. First hot lap. Down the long straight and then want to brake at the 100. Kind of hard to see the signs. MJW does that, maybe goes a little bit deep, and now going to get the car through this next little S's part. He does just that, and now into the second DRS zone. It looks like he is draining his battery. These are the long parts of the track, maybe a little deep here. Tries to get it back around. Another left-right, and the double right-hander through Sector 2. Now we have the S's. Pretty much you set your car up for Sector 2 or you set your car up for Sector 1, and I assume that the lower wings are going to prevail on race pace, as these drivers have always been swinging their cars in, and it looks like it's just very loose, very inverted setups. So I'm sure the drivers will have low wings and somewhat of an inverted setup and just be able to hold it through that final sector. But here comes MJW to the line. It's a 1:16.9. Try to find the driver behind him. 7 just started his lap. Looks like Fawn's going through Sector 2, and here's the S's. You'll probably see some differences in the times between Sector 1 and Sector 2, and that'll probably tell you all you need to know about what setup each driver is running. Some people might be running very low wings, others might be running in the 20s or 30s. I won't be too sure. Fawn goes 6/10. Vivoda through the third sector. He looks like he's made a mistake on this lap and backed out of it. 140. 143. Yuppie and 7 finishes lap first. Sprinting to the line, it's going to be above Voda, but still a 19-2, a bit off the pace. Yuppie coming through Sector 3. This time should be quicker. See what he gets. Dashing to the line, it's a 17-0. Putting him third. Pretty big opportunity for the Williams team today to maybe grab a point or two. We will see what happens. Only 13 drivers today, so Williams has a chance. But we will see if there's any DNFs from the Tier 1 drivers. And Anime looks like he invalidated there, but track does not go red, so he's good for now. As Voda improves, and once again leaving the track, but not invalidating. Heatley goes a 1:16.1, and Squatch has disconnected. I think it teleported his car back to the pit lane, and Anime is in 18. Lucid is on an invalid lap as well as Dismal, so we're going to take this time to send Squatch another invite. See if we can find him really quick. Alright, hopefully he's able to join back. Hitch setting the fastest Sector 1. Good to see Squatch was able to make it back, but not much else to say for Hitch, who's had a dominant season and is out in front in the standings and has been for the entire season. Him and Kryptonic have been battling, but I think there's a couple race gap here, and we're getting to the title clinching spots. Hitch goes pole for now. We're getting to the time where there might be title clinching scenarios, and I'm sure we'll definitely run some numbers on those. But it should be relatively soon. There is one more sprint on the calendar, so might be locked up. So here comes Flame through Sector 2. Looks like he set purples. It's going to be a 17-0. So maybe not purple sectors. Lucid on an out lap. Sevens doesn't appear to be on a lap. JW may be starting a lap here. Currently fourth for him. That would be a great result. JW looking to stay in fourth. He's got 0.8 of a gap between him and Heatley, so he'll be looking to close that with this lap, and we'll see where he's pacing at the end of Sector 2, which is down the straight. He is down. About a half a second. Keeps it valid somehow. And the dash to the line around the final corner. He does improve. 6/10, only 2/10 off Heatley. So MJW solidifying himself into 4th place, but we'll see if anyone can jump him, but would be a career start for the reserve here in Tier 1. Whoa, and 7 off the track. Lucid says a purple sector 2, but we've seen Flame do 2 purple sectors and then not be anywhere close. So we will see how true that is for Lucid. He hugs the corner inside and does take provisional pole by about 500s. Kryptonic to the line in P3. Dismal and Squatch right next to each other. Squatch right behind. Splitting them is Heatley, but not. Don't think he's on a hot lap. Oh, maybe he is. Maybe there's 4 drivers just all finishing hot laps at the same time. Got the Ferrari coming in. Vivoda is also down on his time. We'll see him come to the line, and then we'll see Dismal. So Vivoda jumps a spot. Dismal, oh! Slams into the wall there. Squatch goes P6. Dismal backs up and gets into the pit lane after slamming into the divider and smashing his entire wing off. Not wanting to do another lap with a completely broken car. So decides to send it into the pits. He did this last week as well, where he had a spin in Austria right around the pit lane and just decided to pull it into the pits. So, same thing for Dismal, except a little more chaos this time. A little more collision. As Nightbot said, check out Tier 2. At that link, Bucko still going strong in Tier 2. I think his 2nd or 3rd season doing it, so props to him. He has been a huge part of this league, and everyone enjoys his commentary and the streams. Heatley into the pits. Squatch behind him, and the Anime up on his time, but it is invalid. Hitch also invalidating his time, and he decides to dive into the pits. 7 is on an out lap through Sector 3. He's going to start his lap. Try and get himself out of the basically bottom spot for the drivers who have a time. Dismal has yet to set a time. Looks like he's going out to try and set one as we speak. Should see plenty of overtaking through this first sector. And the drivers filing in for Sector 2. You would normally say that, but we've seen Tier 2. Their most entertaining battle last season was through Sector 2. Not sure if you want to call it a battle or just absolute chaos. But shouldn't see any of that in Tier 1, even though it would be pretty fun to see the drivers scrapping that hard. 7 down on his time. Maybe looking to jump his teammate. But would need another 1.5 seconds to bridge his teammate in Flame. Does beat Anime by half a second, but Flame still a second in the distance. And now Dismal will start his lap. Right along with him, and after his lap should be last lap of the session, trying to get the final time. We'll see the order shift quite a bit towards the end of the session. MJW and Vivoda out a little early. They are right next to each other on track. Dismal might be unfortunate to cross this traffic through the S's. Hopefully they will get off track or just speed up ahead to the straight. Looks like they're not impeding too much. Dismal has not caught them yet. Hopefully this Ferrari sees Dismal coming. Flame has retired from the session. The Ferrari looks to be getting his lap underway, but right in front of Dismal here. A little iffy there, but Dismal P4. That was Vivoda right in front. Maybe a hint of impeding, but I don't think anything will come of it. Up on his first sector here. And that was a Williams cutting the grass. Let's see if MJW is pacing. Yes, down 3/10. This would gain him a couple spots right now. And he does gain exactly that. Just a couple spots just ahead of Fawn and Squatch. Both on laps looking to improve. Fawn is improving through the first sector. So is Squatch. A couple drivers yet to start their laps. Heatley starting his, Hitch racing to the line, and Lucid getting his underway. Hitch will be the last driver. He's been excellent at timing these final laps and gets it started with 7 seconds to go. As the session has ended, and Flame 7 and Dismal with their final times. Yuppie has retired from the session into the pits. Fawn goes P4, jumping Dismal. Squatch P5, also jumping Dismal. MJW is not going to improve. And the top 3 are the ones remaining here. As Heatley is up a bit on his time. Kryptonic's going to be the first to finish out of the top 3. He's only down a 10th. He needs about 4, maybe 3/10 to the line, and that's exactly what he gets, about 5/10 of an improvement. Lucid the next, but he has invalidated his lap, and will Hitch be able to respond to a 15-0 and break the 15 most likely? He does drop time, but it's not going to be enough to get Lucid. Anime way up on his time. And that is the session over very quickly. Start on time and basically have an exact 15-minute qualifying. And there is your starting order. We don't even have enough drivers to fill the screen here. You can see everything that you need to see. Lucid only a tenth and a half behind. Hitch the same time, only 7 thousandths between him and Lucid. And Heatley has about a half second to the leader. Fawn and Squatch as well. Dismal 7 tenths, and then MJW starting in 8th. Ahead of both Ferraris, Flame in 11th, and then both Williams, the bottom two. But MJW looking for, I think, the first points in Tier 1 for him. Williams looking for their first Tier 1 points as a constructor this season. So we will see what comes of that. Still missing a lot of drivers. 6 drivers out this week. The Racing Bulls teammate of Flame, Matt, is out. Josh in the Kick is out. Mel in the Red Bull is out this week. And let me look. Let me look at who exactly marked out. Fate in the Alpine, who does have a reserve, that's MJW. Gronk in the Mercedes, and Cloud for the McLaren. So hopefully some of those guys are able to make it next week and fill up this grid. It's been kind of desolate these past couple weeks. We've had around 15 drivers, and I always say 17 is where it feels full. I don't know if it's arbitrary, but 17 definitely feels a little different, and then anything past that is essentially a full grid. It's nice to see 20 out of 20, but not always the case, as someone may miss or just don't have any reserves, and that's the case here in Tier 1, as not too many people are able to reserve with the assist restriction and just the general pace of the tiers. So be looking for new drivers coming this next season, and probably shift around. Some people from Tier 2 may come up to Tier 1. Some people may drop down. Others in the lower tiers, Tier 3, might go up to Tier 2, and vice versa. We will see in the off season. Getting close. It always feels like it flies by. We're already in the 11th week out of 16. Should be good to get underway here. I will check if Tier 3 did get a stream tonight. We will see. Oh, yes. I think Ago may be streaming it, and if so, I will post his stream on the official chat. If he's the only one streaming, we will see. Yeah. So let's get his stream onto. Forward it into the official stream. There we go. All right. Here we go. The formation lap is underway. If you wanted to know the scores of the MLB postseason today, we'll throw up the tires while we do that. Everyone on mediums except Anime. Not hard. The Reds are leading the Dodgers 2-0 after the first inning. Every team in the wild card round that lost yesterday ended up winning and tying the series at 1 in a best of 3. Guardians beat the Tigers 6-1. Padres shut out the Cubs 3-0, and the Yankees beat the Red Sox 4-3. So it will be very interesting to see who is able to pull through in those little best of 3 series. Those are always crazy. So I think the same. I'm kind of surprised. I didn't know in baseball that they played at the same stadium for those 3 games. I thought it would be like the home team gets games 1 and 3, and then you travel to the weaker seed for game 2. But I guess I'm wrong. Well, it definitely speeds it up. I mean, 3 games in 3 days keeps it so that you can't just reuse pitchers, I'm sure. If you give pitchers an extra day off, then they're pitching pretty much every other game, so. But yeah, I do like MLB playoffs, and I like showing up to games in person. I don't necessarily like watching the games through the regular season, but playoffs is fun. That's okay. There's no reserves in Tier 1 that exist. So, we will throw up the positions changed here. Yep. And then we'll close this. And here we go, underway. Why won't this get off the screen? Whoa, and Flame already onto the grass. And we see Lucid take the lead, and now the chaos into turn 1. It's a very wide track, so everyone got 3 wide for third place, and looks like Dismal's forced off the track. And he's going to lose out. Well, he's cut. Oh, okay. And someone smashed the DRS sign into a million pieces there. And after all that, the top 6 stay the same. Yuppie's up 3, or Yuppie's up 2. Vivoda and Anime up 1 and up 3. Dismal down 5 and 7 down 1. Everyone's still in the DRS. And Kryptonic trying to break DRS on Lucid. Not sure how he retook the lead. It looked like Lucid was ahead there, but maybe I was just taking a sleep on the broadcast and missed it into turn 1. All these drivers again on the medium tires, and Flame cuts some kind of corner and gains 10 seconds penalties. Wouldn't be surprised if he pulled into the pits and retired. Give it about 5 laps and we'll see what happens, as Kryptonic might be out of the DRS here as he comes in a little too hot and lacks up. Let's see if Lucid gets that rear wing open. No, he does not. Does Hitch? No, because the detection point is before the lap begins. Now side by side with Lucid, getting ahead. Lucid trying to get back through, but cannot. And Kryptonic now only 1.1, and Hitch is going to be burning, so we will see how that ends up going. Heatley here as well. Fawn slipping out of the DRS just a tiny bit. Yuppie still in this train. MJW trying to hang on, and he does not activate the DRS. All the other drivers able to get it open. Not sure if Fawn did, but it looks like his gap shifted a little bit so that he is closer to this battle up at the front, which now extends to everyone. 7 already a 3-second penalty. Soon we'll see more of those. Hitch with the fastest time, and no moves look to be getting done here into turn 1. Kryptonic did his best to run away, but to no avail as everyone's still in that DRS. Fawn looks to be hovering around that 1-second mark, and Yuppie 1.6. So Squatch making good headway on Fawn. Yuppie not able to get the DRS open. MJW with a train behind him. Dismal trying to find his way through. Does he have damage from that? Doesn't appear to be. Just trying to find his way through traffic here. So all the drivers make their way through Sector 2. Now everyone is well within DRS, and I think maybe Fawn has a setup built for Sector 2. Might be losing a bit on the straights, but gaining all of it back in Sector 2 through the S's as Flame gets the overtake done on MJW. Flame will be out of the DRS and MJW quite a ways behind, so we should see an attack from both drivers as Vivoda and Dismal able to get the DRS open. Dismal gets by Vivoda and now might go for the double, possibly triple. Flame goes defensive and Dismal off the gas early as MJW puts himself deep. Flame pretty much drives straight into the side of him. Dismal nowhere to go, but gets a better exit here than MJW and gets past. Flame still doesn't have the DRS open. Dismal's going to go. No, he's not. No late moves there, and everyone files behind him. Up in front, doesn't look like any moves were made. Still everyone within DRS. Squatch now, the driver out. So he might be driving a bit of a lonely race as we were on board with Yuppie there, who took a spill, and now Squatch really is going to have no one behind him. 6-second gap as Yuppie slid out through the second sector. That's not going to do wonders for his tires, and now it's behind his teammate with the Williams drivers behind. Back up at the front we go. Hitch closer and closer, looking for the move around the outside. Kryptonic fends that off for now, but Hitch looking to have a better exit through. Definitely going to get it. Gets the DRS open. Kryptonic stays inside. We have a caution in Sector 1. And still side by side, but Hitch with that inside line. The caution has cleared. No safety car. Hitch now alongside through Sector 2, through the double right-hander, and now looking for a spot to go, doesn't find it, and Hitch has the move successfully done. Lucid is right here after all that fighting, as well as Heatley behind him. Fawn also with DRS, but not as close as the other drivers. Still hanging on to that P5. Majority of the drivers haven't moved. Hitch has passed both of the leaders, and they have dropped a place themselves, but 2.5 seconds to go for Squatch and 6.5 for Dismal behind him, so he'll be driving quite a lonely race in 6th place, but nonetheless a good result for him. If that holds up, Voda is up a spot, Flame is up 1 spot, and pitting now, as he will pit off a 10-second penalty as well. And 7, MJW has lost all of that work from qualifying, and he does decide to pit. So we will see how the leaders play this out. As the tires, still all medium tires, and there's the penalties. We obviously know who stopped and who hasn't. So you can see MJW and Flame way in the back now. Pit stop takes a while in Mexico. Quite an early stop, though, off those mediums. Will we see another two-stop race here? I was hearing whispers about it from the Haas team, or when I would actually pay attention to it. So maybe a one-stop will work, but definitely under this good circumstances. As no one in the top group makes a move here. Pitch maybe getting a little out of whack, but again, no one really close enough to go for a move. Now Kryptonic right there, but maybe compromising his exit a bit through Sector 2. The field has pretty much fanned out. The only drivers swapping positions here are just the drivers at the front. Not really swapping positions, only drivers in the DRS. So we will stay at the front of the pack. Still got plenty of laps to go as Flame gets a 3-second time penalty. Yeah, MJW 30 seconds behind Anime after that pit stop, so definitely losing a ton of time as Flame gets another time penalty. Pretty rapid succession there. Yuppie into the pits as well, and yeah, this field spread is pretty brutal here for a 13-car grid. Squatch losing time to Fawn and P5. Dismal still about 6.5 seconds behind him, and then 6.5 seconds behind him is Voda. So Dismal may be the loneliest of the group. This Yuppie might be around Anime. We have a caution in Sector 3. Looks like it's cleaned up now. Maybe MJW, or not sure what happened. Yeah, nothing going on towards the front. No strategy change, like no calls into the pits yet. No one going for the undercut. No one has budged in the top 7. Dismal found his way back after a couple drivers stopped. He was able to get a couple of those overtakes on track. Finds himself back where he started, but with quite the gap to bridge between him and Squatch. Looks to be getting that underway as Kryptonic maybe thought about going down the inside, but did not find a gap, and now is right on Hitch's behind, going into the second DRS zone. Is he going to be able to make anything stick? Takes a peek, but nothing. This Flame gets another time penalty. About the span of one lap, he has accumulated 9 seconds. So not ideal for the only Racing Bulls driver. He does get an overtake on 7 down there. Dismal, the last driver to pit. Will any of the top 6 budge and get into the pits? We will see. Hitch is the first one in. We'll see if the undercut benefits him or not. He's the only one out of the top 6. Maybe Squatch followed him. I don't see Squatch in the distance. No, he did not. There he is back there. So we'll see what the other drivers plan on doing, if maybe they get a safety car to bail them out. But we will see, as everyone, pretty much all the drivers have made their first stop. More than half of them. Anime yet to make his stop. But he did start on the hard tires. So a little bit of a different strategy for him today. Flame, another 3-second time penalty. Flame, a 10-second time penalty. 7, a 3-second time penalty. We have caution in Sector 1. Looks like the battle for last was heating. Not sure what happened. But Heatley is the driver in. He gets his stop done, and we will see if that undercut worked. And yes. And it's not very close. As Hitch now is up probably a couple seconds on Heatley. So the other driver's going to try to make this overcut work, but I'm not sure how well it's going. If they can't, maybe make a one-stop work, then this undercut by Hitch has been pretty effective at maybe breaking some DRS, getting into the clean air, and running the second stint scot-free. But we'll see if there's maybe a safety car or a VSC to help these drivers out. Probably looking to pit soon off these medium tires. We'll see what the drivers decide to do. Kryptonic and Lucid and Fawn all staying out. Anime with the 3-second time penalty. Lucid with the DRS right behind Kryptonic as Hitch sets the fastest lap, trying to get back up into the top 3. Lucid maybe looking at a move, but runs out of room. And Squatch has absolutely hemorrhaged time to Fawn, now 8 seconds back. Can't tell if he's gained or lost time to Dismal. We'll see after his pit stop. A couple drivers hanging out here. 5 drivers who have not yet pit. I think in the stops you lose about 30 seconds. We do have a caution in Sector 3. I think that's the Williams. That's actually Flame. Another penalty for him. He's got to be nearing disqualification now. We can pull up the penalties as Fawn does go into the pits. 35 seconds. We'll see how high that goes. It's Lucid once again following right behind Kryptonic. And looks for a move now. Goes for it down the inside. And makes the move stick as he takes the lead here. Kryptonic right on his tail. Now Hitch only 10 seconds behind. That is going to be huge, as when they pit, they're going to be quite a long ways back, but maybe going for the one stop here. Flame 38 seconds penalties now. I'm thinking at this point, you just shack it into the wall. Pull into the pits, retire, do something. Lucid is the first to box. Kryptonic carries on. And yeah, we will see Hitch go flying by Lucid, and now there's going to be quite the gap, but maybe a different strategy for these drivers. Different strategy for Squatch as well, as he stays out. And we'll see when Anime comes in on these hard tires. Done well for him so far, still in P8. He's on quite the different strategy than everyone else. Kryptonic looks a little slidey through Sector 2. Flame, 41 seconds. Driving quite uninspired. And there it is. Final Flame has been disqualified from the session for an accumulation of penalties. And MJW is off the track. There's a caution. There's also another caution for a Ferrari. But no safety car. VSC as everyone keeps it going. And Kryptonic is in as Lucid gets a 3-second time penalty. And now Hitch is through and completely in the clear as Squatch follows Kryptonic into the pits. In Anime, the last driver to not pit, but starting on the hard tires, it makes sense. No safety car yet, but a Racing Bull driver has been eviscerated from the session. The stewards have said enough is enough and disqualified Flame after over a minute of penalties. 3 10-second time penalties, 2 for corner cutting, and 1 for speeding, and a bunch of 3-second track limit penalties. Fawn right behind Lucid now after the stops. He's jumped a spot for now. We have a caution in Sector 3. Seiko Williams may have spun. No safety car once again. Pretty hard to slam into the wall unless it's Sector 2. Yuppie is right behind Squatch, maybe looking at some DRS here. Yuppie not able to really climb back into the DRS range. 1.5 seconds. It was 1.2 before the straight. Making small gains, but still outside of that DRS. And now, yeah, 1.5, 1.6. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to get it, as now 7 is racking up the penalties. Already done 2 stops this race, and we're only nearing halfway. Rapidly approaching is Squatch on Anime, whose tires, I'm sure, not feeling great. She's ran from the start on these hard tires. And you can just see the grip advantage that Squatch has, and he's going to definitely use it down this front straight with the DRS. Anime will stay out, and Squatch will just blast through. Clear advantage as 7 gets another 3-second time penalty. Squatch is through. Yeah, with the double DRS from one detection zone. Squatch is through and then some. Fawn's still right behind. Kryptonic gaining on that crew. And Yuppie is probably going to look to get in the DRS and get ahead of Anime as well. We have hit half race distances. Hitch is well in front of the field, 9 seconds after that undercut, and driving in clean air. There's no one really battling through the field. Kryptonic has now got himself into the DRS. There's now Yuppie coming up to the back of Anime. Doesn't make the move. Got another clear grip advantage here. Caution in Sector 1. I think I thought it was MJW. It doesn't appear that way. It's just 7, I think. And these 3 now, the next closest drivers, as Anime gets a 3-second time penalty. Lucid, the only non-Williams to have a penalty right now. It's only 3 seconds. And caution in Sector 2, but again, looks like kept it moving. A couple drivers have been lapped. Like I said, we're just past halfway through this race. Kryptonic gets by Fawn. Into P4, now we'll be looking for a way by Lucid next. Caution in Sector 3. And looks like MJW kept it moving. And into the pits he goes. Not sure what happened there. The Red Bull of Heatley dives into the pits for his second stop, making it quite early, maybe going for the undercut, knowing he was going to be attacked. Kryptonic down the inside. We have caution in Sector 1. I think it's just MJW getting out of the way here, being a lapped car. And Kryptonic gets through. Lucid maybe looking to fight back. They both have DRS. It at least appeared that Lucid had DRS. Not sure if he actually did. But Kryptonic does stay ahead. And they continue on. Now 11.5 seconds, Team Kryptonic and Hitch. But Kryptonic might be going for the one-stop strategy. But not necessarily sure if that's the right call or not. We'll see how he can pace and how he can maintain these hard tires if he is going for a one-stop. He's the king of two-stop strategies to start the season. But I think he's just the king of alternate strategies. If it's a two-stop, Kryptonic wants to go for the one. If it's a one-stop, Kryptonic wants to go for the two. Just see what he can do on that alternate strategy. See what kind of pace advantage he has at certain segments of the race instead of being normal. But the issue for that is whenever there's a safety car, it usually doesn't hurt the majority of drivers, but the alternate strategy is either losing out to everyone in the field or is beating everyone in the field. So it's a high-risk, high-reward scenario running the alternate strategy, knowing that it's the alternate strategy. As Heatley does get a 3-second time penalty, might impact his finishing position later in this race when he works his way back up through the field. But I have certainly, my time driving, I've been on both sides of the alternate strategy, whether it works or whether it doesn't. And 7 has been disqualified from the session. It's 2 drivers gone from accumulation of penalties. But here we have it. Hitch goes in for a second stop quite early, and Kryptonic now has a lead. So 2 drivers disqualified by the stewards. They've had enough of their corner cutting and track limit violations. Dismal in for his second stop. Squatch getting passed by Heatley on those new tires. Instead of the stops, we can pull up what tires the drivers are on now. Okay, that's not very interesting. Everyone on the hard tires. Anime gonna look to go to the mediums after his extremely long stint on the hards. Voda as well. Went quite some way on those hard tires, but the drivers up front, I think, might be trying a one-stop strategy. Squatch gets his first 3-second time penalty. It should be interesting whether or not Hitch can make up that gap, and he's only 10 seconds behind, so I definitely think the 2-step strategy was the way to go. Today with no safety cars, no monkey business so far. It's been pretty straightforward. The strategies that were projected are the strategies that are working. Heatley sets the fastest lap on those new hard tires. But we'll see towards the end of this race what happens. Obviously, the top 3 having track position over Hitch, but quite hard to defend in Mexico when these DRS straights are as long as they are. But we'll see if the hard tires are able to hold up for the remainder of this race. Hitch with no penalties. Fawn as well, no penalties, so he's net P2 currently. But things can change on the whim, so we will see. Only 11 drivers out on track. Anime looking to score the first points of the season for the Williams team. MJW, I think, as well, looking to score his first points in Tier 1. Always an impressive thing to do, regardless of the circumstances. Unless there's only 10 cars. In that case, you don't have to drive very fast to get a point. But here there was 13 to start with. 2 could not follow track limits enough and were disqualified pretty promptly by the stewards. As Dismal gets by Yuppie, and obviously a tire advantage there for him. Anime gets a 3-second time penalty as he pits and looks to maybe have cut that. He might have cut that pit entry, gotten a penalty from it. No surprises yet in the field. Anime did pit off those hard tires, so now just has to bring it home on the medium tires and see the penalties. He does have 9 seconds of penalties there, but he has 19 seconds to him and MJW. Here's your positions changed. A couple people up a couple spots. Fawn up 2 spots. Yuppie and Vivoda both up 1. Anime up 3 spots. We will throw on the tires, as I think that's the most important. It's Lucid and Fawn getting quite close to each other, and Hitch is bringing this gap down rapidly, but still has to make the overtakes. Top 3 drivers just trying to run away a bit. Squatch gets another 3-second time penalty, and now that's 6 seconds for him as he's had Dismal behind, who just set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. So 6 seconds leaves him about 8-second gap currently to Dismal after penalties. And Hitch has now quickly made that from 5 to 4 seconds. We'll watch how quickly that gap shrinks as 3.6 is the gap down. We'll just ride on board with Hitch as he goes through a lap with 10 laps to go here on 4-lap Old Hards. Top 3 drivers looking to go for a one-stop strategy, but Hitch with the undercut on his first stop and now the undercut here. He has made headway for this entire race and looking to continue the charge. So the gap hasn't changed very much since the start of this lap, but now you can see where the tires are really an advantage through Sector 2 as every corner he's gaining about a half-tenth. And now through the S's gaining full tenths. 3/10 through the S's, 4/10, 5/10. So every time through Sector 2 gaining nearly half a second just on the tires alone. Sector 3, 2.1, almost 2.0, so almost a second or a second and a half per lap. So you can see the cars in the distance still pushing on with 9 laps to go here. I don't think the one-stop strategies will be able to hang on unless we see some crazy defense from Fawn in 3rd and Lucid in 2nd. Kryptonic, you know, is always willing to put up a fight. So we will see what happens as these drivers try to protect their podium positions. Hitch getting up close to the DRS. Everyone else a decent gap to one another. These top 4 drivers right on each other, still within DRS, pretty much have been throughout the entire race. Hitch dropping out because of strategy, but is now right back where he needs to be. Vivoda pits for mediums, and Anime gets by, and now Vivoda being lapped. So Anime on the one-stop strategy gets ahead of Vivoda and MJW, plus the couple drivers that were disqualified, obviously. Now Hitch right behind, now 8 laps to defend. How aggressive is Fawn going to be on the older tires? Down the inside, Fawn side by side here. Now doesn't have that inside line through Sector 2. Still alongside for right now, but now Hitch pushing the car. Has a little bit more grip, so can afford to brake a little bit later into the double right and gets the move done. Good effort from Fawn, doing his best to keep the position, but just not enough when you've got the championship leader behind on 9-lap fresher tires. Makes it quite hard, and these top three are going to have quite the time defending Hitch from just blasting by down the straight. So we'll see what Lucid does as he gets the DRS open. Now Hitch really bump drafting him through the straight, now alongside. Retakes the racing line and has the move done in the clear. 2 moves in 1 lap, and now has his target set on Kryptonic and might be going for this move immediately as Kryptonic defends down the inside and does stay fully ahead, or else would have likely given that position up since he would have had the outside line going through that S, but Kryptonic hangs on for another straight. But with the way Hitch is looking right now and just his strategy, not sure how long Kryptonic is going to be able to hold on to the lead. It's the gap now 2.5 tenths. He has Hitch right behind going into this front straight, which is the main overtaking zone. See both of them trying to get the best exit they can. Hitch glued onto the back of Kryptonic. Forces him the long way, and it does not matter. As Hitch waves his DRS goodbye. He's going to have it once more down this straight, and the 2-stop strategy prevails for the 3 drivers behind that tried the 1-stop today. Now we're going to have to nurse those tires home, as the next driver behind is Heatley, who is 13 seconds. So should be able to hold that one with 6 laps to go, but you never know. As we saw Lucid puncture last race and pretty much DNF at the end. Upsetting result for him, and now with a penalty, we'll likely lose a spot to Fawn unless Fawn accumulates a penalty in the near future. Those 3 drivers still right there, and MJW picks up a penalty. No real battles anywhere else on track. Just this top 4, and then everyone else about 7 seconds away. We know pretty much what everyone's tire strategy is, but let's throw up the penalties here and see who might be battling for position, even though they are far away. Squatch and Dismal within a second of each other. Dismal needing a half second to get in front on penalties. Anime and Vivoda very close as well. 9 seconds of penalties, now 12 seconds, so Vivoda has jumped him. And then Lucid with 3 seconds. We'll be losing a spot to Fawn. Dismal now dipping under that 6-second mark, which is where he needs to be to gain that finishing spot against Squatch. Looks like he's making inroads at that position with a bit fresher tires. Lucid might fall out of DRS now. Looks like he is struggling on those old hard tires. I'm sure these last couple laps are going to be painful for the 1-stoppers. As you can just see, this is where the two-stop strategy is coming into play, and Dismal's making gains on Squatch. Might get the move done on track even. Anime doing the reverse one-stop, holding up a little bit better. He's going to be, him and MJW are going to be very close, as it's 15 seconds the gap now. But I think it nets out to a little bit closer, since MJW does have that 3-second time penalty. 15 seconds goes to 18, but with Anime's 12 seconds, it's only about 6 seconds of a gap there. So pretty much MJW's gap to Vivoda. Lucid out of the DRS. Fawn a little shaky on that exit, and now he's almost out of the DRS. You see how the driver's on the one-stop starting to struggle quite a bit. So far, this has been quite a straightforward race. No safety cars, no VSCs. Two-stop strategy has worked better. Hitch has proven that, getting into the lead. And yeah, as you can see, the positions changed. Not much activity. Second and third got passed by Hitch on the different strategy. Fawn jumped Heatley on the one stop. Squatch and Dismal staying the same, but will flip positions. Yuppie up 1, Anime up 4. Vivoda placing where he started, but might be gaining the place on Anime. And MJW in 11th. After a close qualifying, Fawn getting by Lucid now. Is going to get him on penalties either way, so just a nice formality to get past on track, pretty much. See how Anime gets through these last couple laps, eyeing his first points of the season. Looks like he's putting some time onto Vivoda, not sure what happened. Vivoda has damage, or he was just letting drivers by, maybe struggling a bit on these tires. It shouldn't be any older than Anime's. No. Let's pull up the penalties, as that's really the only thing going to be making a big difference. Right now, the top 4 should stay as they are. Lucid, even if the overtake is done, will still be towards the back here. The back of that pack. So P4 likely locked up for Lucid. Heatley running his own race in 5th with some penalties. Squatch was caught by Dismal, who was in penalty range here in the last couple laps. So Dismal probably not going to make that move on track, but will get 6th place. Squatch will be relegated to 7th. And then Yuppie 41 seconds behind in 8th. Right now we're on board with Anime, seeing if he can seconds of penalties here. As you start the final lap, they are 1 lap down. So this is everyone's final lap. And we'll see on the timing screen, Vivoda now closing that gap quite a bit. And now Lucid making that move on track. Fawn probably not fighting as much as he would. Yeah, no one is here. You're right. Hitch ran away with the race today. The two-stop strategy, the only driver in the top 4 to go for the two-stop, made it work and was able to coast to victory today. Hitch is going to take the checkered flag and get the win. Kryptonic in second on the one-stop strategy. Lucid getting the move done on Fawn, but not going to end up with the move. So Fawn should be the final podium position. Is Yuppie the second driver to take the checkered flag in 8th place. Now drivers should be staggering in. As a couple drivers are lapped. Anime does finish in 9th. For right now, Heatley finishes. Vivoda the next to cross the line. He jumps Anime. I'm not sure what the board is doing there. Squatch crossing the line, and Dismal going to take that position off of him. But Anime with his first points of the season for himself and Williams. So congrats to them. We'll want to get this race director pretty quick since there was 10 trillion penalties. A whole screen of just... Oh, Yuppie ruined it. Pretty much a whole screen of flame. There it is again. Oh my goodness. A whole screen of 7 now. Is it true? Can I get a whole... Oh no. It's him and his teammate. Whole screen of Williams though. Anyway, I've had my fun. There are your race results and the Gaps Dismal with the fastest lap by only 9 thousandths actually. But Hitch is your winner. Kryptonic and Fawn close out the podium. Lucid in 4th and Heatley 5th with double-digit points. Rest of the point scorers, Dismal, Squatch, Yuppie, Vivoda, and Anime sneaking that 1 point in for Williams. Bottom 2 were disqualified, and MJW, the only finishing driver, missing out on the points. Hopefully we get a little more than 13 next week in Singapore, but who knows? Again, thank you for participating or watching the stream. We appreciate it, whether you're watching on YouTube, Twitch, or whatever time of day. We appreciate you guys watching, and not sure that we'll have very many views here, as this is quite the straightforward race. No safety cars, no nothing, no nonsense. Just start to finish, pick your strategy and go with it, and none of the drivers making too many mistakes, except 2 drivers that were disqualified. But anyway, that was round 11. Next week we'll be in Singapore, as mentioned. I don't think it's a sprint weekend. I could be wrong, but I know there is 1 sprint remaining this season, so stay tuned for that longer session, and hopefully we get a couple more drivers in next week. As like I said, in Singapore, and we're getting closer to title clinching scenarios, so McLaren fighting Alpine for the constructors, as well as Hitch trying to lock up the Drivers' Championship, and the win today definitely going to help get 1 step closer to sealing the deal. But anyway, thank you for watching, and hope that you join us for next week's stream. Have a great night, or whatever time of day it is.